I'm a technical analyst at Natural Resources Canada. I have both an engineering degree and a policy degree, and so I'm able to leverage both of those in my current job.
I'm Annette. My current career is I'm a family physician. I just graduated and I'm currently locuming, which means I'm just covering people's clinics.
Hi, my name is Leah. I'm a high school teacher. I teach French, so I do French immersion and core, and I also teach biology and junior sciences. I also teach at Yamaha Music School.
Hi, Marcus. I worked at RBC for a little bit more than 3 years as a data scientist, and then recently I moved to SF as a software engineer at Google on an AI team.
Well, being in a team was really motivating, and it was really rewarding because at home you would practice your own part for an ensemble, for example, and it sounds nice, but it's not the same as when you play it all together and you're like, wow, my part fits in so well with everyone else.
Yeah, and I think that was part of expectation as well, because I always felt like everyone in our class was so good that every time I was like, oh no, I need to be good too. So then I'd be like, it would kind of motivate me to keep practicing.
It teaches collaboration, because I feel like typically piano players, if they go through the classical background route, you're usually training to be a soloist. Whereas if you play like violin or some woodwind instrument, you can play an orchestra. And so I think having that ensemble experience really helps with just learning to be a team player and collaborating. You're not a soloist all the time. You have to, depending on what part you're playing, you might be in the background more and you want to let your teammates shine instead.
We had the honor of opening for Herbie Hancock at the Toronto Jazz Festival in 2007. That was just a mind-blowing experience. I think the Four Seasons Center for the Performing Arts was just opening too, so we were like one of the first concerts that ever took place there.
And I remember meeting Oscar Peterson in Mississauga. I was so lucky to play with the Toronto Philharmonia at that time. I performed Wonder of the Northern Lights. It was such a fun experience, such a unique experience. I'm really, really lucky to have taken part in that.
I think we felt the same way with Herbie Hancock, right?
Yeah.
When we were backstage, and he was actually backstage with us, and we were like, oh, this is so cool. We
in the same building as us.
With somebody who's like acclaimed in this area. And it was also really, I guess, validating, because like when we played our pieces, like people that were coming to see Herbie Hancock were like jazz enthusiasts who like enjoyed jazz, and then they were like so enthusiastic about our pieces, and I felt that like to be super validating.
What we experienced at Yamaha is so unique, and it was such a big part of my childhood and then my teenage years, and I felt like no one could understand like how much I missed music class more than like they could. So then we would occasionally, like even at my parties, we would sing together, we would carol together, we would play together, we would do duets and fit as many people on a keyboard or a piano as we could. I think we fit like 4 people on the piano bench, and we just all took a part. Or even if we were just like sight reading together, that would be really fun too.
Yeah, so music and creativity, I think that comes with music, have been shown to help with cognitive skills. So it actually helps with a lot of logic-based skills, math-type skills. Like people that have a music background are more likely to do well in those kind of subjects and to be able to think through a lot of problem-solving and critical thinking. And then it also helps with the non-cognitive skills, because especially with how we were trained in Yamaha and learning as a group too, we were developing a lot of like the non-verbal skills, communication skills, that is essentially universally applicable no matter what career you even do. Lots of health benefits for children, mental health, physical health. Also helps with just development, because a lot of development comes from like social skills and almost like challenging the child to think creatively out of the box, to show them that there's no like one structured way to do something, and that there's always a workaround, there's always another creative way, there's always another like out of the box solution. And so that has also been shown to essentially help speed up development and also to help enhance development as well.
I thought that the Yamaha experience is just completely unique to anything that I've experienced so far, even up to this day. I went to a arts high school as a piano major. The people I met there, they come from more traditional classical backgrounds, and I can definitely see the difference between their skills and my skills. I feel like the experience we got at Yamaha, all of our group classes, had development in other skills besides just purely piano playing, right? Like you mentioned, we first learned with solfege, we learned how to play an ensemble, we learned how to improvise, we learned how to compose, we learned how to sing and accompany ourselves at the same time, because we had to do those for the exams as well. And this kind of speaks to, I think, something one of my music teachers talked about in school, about being more of like a whole musician rather than just being very specifically specialized in being able to read a score and translating that into piano playing.
I think if I had to summarize Yamaha based in comparison to other ways of classical training, I would say the major takeaway is be patient, because it takes a time and a lot of hard work to build those kinds of skills. But that's not really what Yamaha's about. Yamaha's really about building the foundation so that you can become, as Marcus said earlier, like a well-rounded musician. It's about being able to play by ear, not just by score. It's being able to put your own flair, make variations, improv, and composition, not just play exactly what you're given on the score. And so I think the biggest takeaway is that the results come, and the results are way better than through the classical system, but it just you have to really work hard and to be patient with it, because it is a lot of foundational skill building.
I think what kept us coming back was the Wednesday 6:30 routine. It was just we need to be here Wednesday at 6:30 with our group of friends and do fun things together. It's funny, when I'll go watch the orchestra in Ottawa play every once in a while, and I'm hearing the entire piece in solfege in all the different parts and lines at the same time. Solfege is its own way of communication, and so is something like French or Spanish or Cantonese or whatever. And I should use French more in my job, but I'm able to pick up on other people's French because I have some foundation of language learning skills, and so I've found that to be useful.
I think music in general is such a universal thing that ties many people together regardless of language, and that's what's so beautiful about it. It doesn't matter where in the world you are, you can play music, you can express yourself through music, through rhythm, and that really bonds people or gives them something to bond over that is just so unique and special.